Oh, hello everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Coming through good?
All right. So yeah, um, welcome to our GoToWebinar meeting regarding student pathways, internship position, and let me share my screen. Okay, so yeah, my name is Gavin Shigesato. I was a student pathways myself back in 2017 when I was in the master's program, and then as I guess was in the graduate program here at UH, I was able to progress and get my master's as well as get a full-time position. I've been working here at the same office in Honolulu since 2017. So the purpose of this meeting is so that we can kind of go over our position intern like job application process. And if you guys have any kind of questions regarding really anything with this position, let me know and I'll try to answer it. And we also have our warning coordinator, meteorologist John Bravender, listening in as well to help any kind of answer any questions. So yeah, let's get started. So pretty much just a quick background of the National Weather Service. We provide the weather, water, and climate data forecasts and warnings for the protection of the life and property of the and enhancement of the economy. So pretty much we're going to be send out our main purpose is to send out these timely watches and warnings, whether it's any kind of weather related things for the protection of our life and property. And we have 122 offices across the nation. CPHC, the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, and the Honolulu Forecast Center is co-located with the same office. And that one gets activated from June 1st to November 30th, or whenever we have a storm within our area of responsibility. We have two data collection offices in Lihue and one in Hilo that will launch soundings twice a day at 0 and 12Z, as well as across the entire region of the United States. Different offices and whatnot are able to um, like send up balloons, but also those people are all sending out a forecast as well. So there's a lot of offices where you have opportunities to work once you are able to get into the weather service. But when it comes to this job application, I guess we have some questions regarding the resume, how to answer all the questions correctly, what documents you need to include, and after you complete the USA jobs portion, you'll be actually redirected to the NOAA page, for which you'll have like a questionnaire to go through. Everything you kind of want to go through pretty slowly. Make sure you kind of like dot all your I's, cross all your T's, and make sure that you're answering everything that needs to be answered. So I'm just gonna go straight to the USA Jobs application. We can just kind of go through it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And then we'll go through the NOAA questionnaire side. Answers will probably be different, like personally, whether you were like a military or if you have any federal experience prior to or that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's just get into it. Let's see. All right. So this student trainee meteorologist is I guess the deadline will be closing on November 30th. I think that's next week, Monday. So over this Thanksgiving weekend, if you haven't gotten started, you can just get through it all and hopefully make sure you get that application done on time. It's an intern position where you'll be expected to work in the Honolulu forecast office or the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, same thing. But you would have to you'd have to be on the island attending a university to be able to apply and get through this process. So what happens is that this application that you're filling out will probably get sent to like the workforce management or like an office personnel management. And before that even gets to like my bosses, they will check things and make sure that you have everything lined up, where all your requirements are all checked off, your required documents. And that's kind of the part where when I was applying, I got kind of nervous, because if I had all my documents, I felt like I was qualified, but then if I couldn't even make it for my bosses to even look at the my job application, then it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So this part where you want to make sure that you have all the required stuff, and make sure that everything is up to date and taken care of. So we want to make sure that you have a proof of enrollment for the fall of 2020. That would be any kind of enrollment letter or your transcripts indicating that you've taken courses in the fall of 2020. And any unofficial transcripts are required if you're using education to qualify. So you would want to at least post your transcripts, probably off of MyUH or whichever kind of university you're attending, if you're not at the University of Hawaii. So let's see. So the main bulk of this thing is that whether it's your resume or in just extra required documents that you attach, that you want to make sure that you are showing these things that you are like up to par with. So whether you're a citizen of the United States, required to pass a background check, that stuff will come later. Make sure that you're registered for selected services, and a minimum 1-year trial period will be required. So that would just mean that your position would probably last at least a year. If not, that would be up to management. 16 years of age, which if you're in college, most likely you'll be of age. Let's see. So you want to be enrolled as a student at least of a half-time basis. So that would be like a part-time. It would be under like part-time at UH. I'm not too sure what kind of amount of credits that would be, whether that's like 6 or 3. You just want to make sure that you're in at least part-time status and that you have that shown for your transcripts wise. Your GPA to have at least a 2.0 GPA, and transcript or proof of enrollment. And after you get selected, you would just sign off on one of these pathway program agreements. So the pathways program is intern position, so it's not to exceed the SNTE of, let's see, proof of enrollment. So pretty much with all this, it's just saying that you need to show that you're qualified and you're in school, because you have to be in school to get this job pretty much. There's some other extra qualifications regarding just if you have a degree that you're taking like extra level higher end classes, and these GS level 3 and 4 positions, that's just like kind of like your grading scale, whether that's a 3 or a 4. It kind of, there's different scales in order to get promoted to the next level. So at a GS3, you need at least 1 year of post high school study. So 1 year college and at least one course in either meteorology, mathematics, engineering, or physical science. That can be kind of any STEM classes, or 6 months of general experience defined as any type of work or demonstrates the ability to perform the position. So if you don't have the education, make sure that you put in a required document or a document that shows your work experience relating this, or you can also include that in your resume to at least make sure that you have that work experience to show for it. So when you if you can come in as a GS3, that's like your base level, and if you come in as a GS4, is showing that you have 2 years of post high school study, 12 hours semester hours. So kind of, I think that's 4 full classes in those specific fields. Or also you want to make sure that you have the work experience. So in your resume and your transcripts, you want to at least make sure that you have the STEM classes that you need and or the work experience. When it comes to a resume, we kind of want it to be precise, to just make sure that you're checking off all these boxes that are required. It's more of an entry-level position, so you kind of just want to make sure that you have like the education, if you have any cool background or anything that can help you stand out, to just make sure that you include it in the resume or even your cover letter. So USA Jobs has their own, I guess, definitions, so you want to take a look at that to make sure that you qualify. And when you get the position, or if you are selected, you're eligible for this thing that is like a conversion, where if you complete at least 640 hours of the student pathways position, over the course of when you're a student, then you'll be able to kind of get like a conversion to a full-time position if there's a job opening. That kind of stuff, it gets a little bit more fuzzy, where if you have like more points in your job application, or if you can stand out, being a student intern can really help you get to that next stage of gaining a full-time employment. So yeah, required documents, we want your resume, your proof of enrollment, showing that you have your education or your job experiences. And then if you're a veteran, that make sure that you also have the paperwork to show that you are eligible for veterans preference and any active duty service things, to make sure that you include all of that stuff into your application. So when you apply, you'll go through this page, you'll make your account on USA Jobs, you'll kind of go through it step by step, and it's kind of laid out for you so you can check everything off. And then once you finish the like USA Job side, your resume and everything's uploaded, and like your transcripts and whatnot, then you kind of you'll get redirected to this Department of Commerce questionnaire, which is something that is like just to make sure that you're eligible. This is from like more of a NOAA thing, so I can kind of go through it. When I was doing the application, I remember making sure that I triple checked it, make sure all my answers are correct. What I was doing was like everything was honest, and that I could actually have a shot at gaining a employment here. So you just want to go through this, whether you're a pathways student intern program. Wait, this stuff will all vary for each person, as some of you guys may have veteran military time or any type of extra experience that you can put on here. So is there any questions before I continue with this part?
So for anybody that wants to ask a question verbally, click the raise your hand button and we'll unmute you. We did get a couple questions that via chat.
Oh, okay.
Which, let's see, we answered via chat, but let me ask you here, so those on the recording will be able to hear this as well. Do you have to show that you are a U.S. citizen in your application, or is it sufficient to say so on the resume at this stage, or what verification goes into that?
Personally, I'm not too sure. The selective services, I just like on my resume, I made sure that I put like the selective service number, like your that number that you get for it, like your key. I included that in my resume just to be safe. I guess U.S. citizen.
No.
Yeah.
And then in the application, I guess the second question is also similar to this. Just to verify, an unofficial transcript showing that you took classes in fall of 2020, is that sufficient to show proof of enrollment, since the unofficial transcript doesn't necessarily show that you will be a student next semester?
Oh.
And
Mhm.
for both of those in the application process, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. Yes or no. Are you a student? Yes or no. And the unofficial transcript gives you shows that you're enrolled at one point, but you also have to stay enrolled to stay eligible for the Pathways program.
Okay, so I guess for John, would you recommend them like showing their list of classes that they'll be enrolled for spring of 2021? Might be just something to add to their documents.
Sure, I guess, yeah, that doesn't
Mhm.
hurt.
Yeah, guess the more you put to cover your behind might be best. Well, thank you for those questions, and if you have any more, just let us know. So yeah, I'll continue. So this part of the application, it's kind of basic, whereas I guess other job applications are asking more about your like job experience, but this one's, since it's like a very entry level position, it's a little bit more just, are you like more personal basic information that they can take, because you wouldn't have much experience if you're applying for a student intern spot in the federal government. So you just want to make sure that you check off like, oh, for the Department of Commerce, NOAA, um, are you eligible? Let me this for some of these questions. Let's see. Number 5, are you eligible for reinstatement based on prior federal services and you are not currently serving in the competitive service as a permanent career or career conditional federal civilian employee? So if you have prior experience or if you're working in the federal government already, then your answer might be different from if you are new. When I was coming in fresh, I didn't have any kind of permanent career position, so my answer was no. And if you do have, just make sure that you're putting in the correct dates. These dates should probably match what's on your resume or any kind of federal employment forms. I think it's like the SF-50. If you have any federal experience, that form which will show you your like job um, timeline and um, pay grade. Are you a preference eligible or a veteran who has separated from the armed forces under honorable conditions after completing 3 or more years of continuous service? So any military, make sure that you go through these questions a little bit more keenly to check it off. Yes, if you had that kind of experience. Are you eligible for a non-competitive appointment under the special authority appointing authority? So in my case, I was already a pathway student, so my answer would be yes, but this probably would, if you didn't have any kind of federal experience, it would probably be no. If you answered questions, yeah,
And
so
actually, that's probably a good thing to point out too earlier, that if you're coming in with no experience, then the answers to a lot of these questions would just be no. Like, are you a current federal employee? No.
mhm.
You don't have to worry about what agencies you're with or anything like that. Um, Gavin, you're a little unique coming between Pathways programs in that
Yeah,
regard.
yeah. So yeah, it would be no. So yeah, if you're pretty blank or fresh slate where you don't have any job experience in the federal government, then um, it doesn't mean it will hurt you, but just to be honest with what you have. Are you eligible for an appointment under an interchange agreement? So if there's a click here button, usually you can get more information. They're pretty, I guess, they explain it pretty well in these questionnaire boxes, but my answer personally was no. Again, it can all change for each one of you guys. So if you were a federal employee, then you would have like a GS rank or GS grade level. Like I said, like a 3 was your entry level position for this job. And if you had any type of experience, to just put it on here. And if you were a federal employee at one point, make sure that you include those specific documents like the SF-50 or any kind of like proof that you were an employee at the time. And yeah, so this stuff's kind of dealing with grade level. If you are coming in as a with no experience, just put not applicable. Just answer that if you have any family that's working in the Department of Commerce, any kind of surplus or displaced employee information. Personally, I am not a displaced employee, but it can all be a little different from which you may be one. And I clicked on this one, so you can check out these eligibility links on the top of this page. When you're filling out the application, to check it and double check if that stuff does ring a bell. Make sure that you register for your selective services systems. And if not, you have an approved exemption that you would want to attach. Are you, no. And voluntary separation incentive payment from a federal agency, no. If you don't work, pretty much that would be a no. But any kind of stuff on this questionnaire, just try to answer it as the best you can. Honestly, if you don't know, you can always put no, just to kind of make sure that you are answering it to the best of your ability. So we got another question here. Do recommendation letters need to be uploaded with the application, or will you contact the people I state in my application as my recommenders if needed? John, do you have any kind of advice on that?
Sure. If you have recommendation letters, yes, please include them. It's helpful to read that. Having a list of references is also good. But having the recommendation letter itself makes it easier for the selecting official to review it and consider that in terms of, picking out the top several candidates.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So hopefully you may have some letters of recommendation already, or if you have a good standing relationship with one of the professors or someone of your former employers, maybe they can write you a letter or something. Just my 2 cents, but yeah. Make sure you get the application though done by the 30th. Is there any other questions? That's pretty much all I had to share with you guys today, but stick around for a little while. If you have any questions, you can type them or just raise your hand and talk.
All right, so a new question came in asking about the selection process, which I might handle that more. How does the selection process work? I heard that folks in the Weather Service only see the top few applicants for the position chosen by HR. Is that true? So how the whole process works, you submit your application, and the other key point there is the closing deadline time as well. They not only closes on the 30th, but at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So remember that 6:59 p.m. Hawaii time. So it's that evening is when no more applications will be selected or accepted. So once that happens, their human resources, workforce management will go through the applications, look at the answers to your questions. Like Gavin mentioned, if you have any past experience or veterans preference, those will rank higher. And then go through, do a quick vetting, make sure you're enrolled in school with the transcript and all that. And then pass along the top certain number of candidates, maybe the top 10 applications, to the selecting official. And lately it's been taking about 1 to 2 weeks for that process to happen. So we'll get the official package about 2 weeks after the close date. That varies based on how busy the workforce people are, and I'm not sure how the holidays in December will come into play with this. But hopefully we'll get that within a couple of the job closing, and then we'll go through and look at those applications, look at your resumes, your recommendations, and rank those based on the needs that we have. We're looking for a weather position. We're looking for somebody with an atmospheric science background, but if you have, say, a lot of computer science experience, that might be something that could be helpful in our office. So that won't rank nearly as high as a meteorology student, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try applying if that's what more of your background is. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go through, pick out the top maybe 4 or 5 candidates and do more in-depth work, investigation for those people, calling the not recommendations, calling the people that you put down to offer a recommendation, looking at calling professors or anybody else that might be able to tell us more about the person, and then conducting interviews. And all told, that process has to happen within 30 days. So once we get the panel from Human Resources, we have 30 days to go through the interview process and make a selection. So we're looking at, and that's from that point, once that selection is made, then it goes back to the Human Resources for what is called the tentative job offer. That's the initial, hey, we selected you, do you want the job? And then you come back, yes, I want. Some people might say, no, I decided to move, I'm not available anymore, or yes, I want the job. And that starts a whole other process involving just a basic background check, have to get fingerprints done, get those submitted, and all the security is called a security clearance, but it's really just the most basic level of, it's called public trust security clearance for you to get brought in. And then once that's underway, they'll come back with what's called the final job offer, which includes salary information, all that, and that's the official one. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, sweet. I saw one of the attendees had their hand raised a little bit earlier. Do you have any questions, or was John able to answer? Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, if you make sure that you get your application through, and hopefully if you get past that stage where you're going to interview, just a quick little tip would be, if you're applying here or even at any other weather service office across the nation, you may want to at least learn about the weather service mission, kind of just be a little bit, do your research prior to the interview or about NWS and that kind of stuff, to make sure that you at least know what you're yourself getting into, and that you can have some questions for the interviewers as well. So yeah, that's about it. Anything else from our attendees?
Kevin, did you want to talk a little bit about the schedule, how the pathway student typically works, like during the school year versus during the summer?
Yeah, so I guess overall, this office is a little special, but we do 12-hour shifts here, whether 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It was like the regular long day shift. But when I was in school, and especially you're taking classes, sometimes you only can show up for 6 hours. So personally, my schedule was like I came in at 12 to 6 a few times a week, and then when I had a day off, I would work 6 to 6 for like a total of 24 hours in a week. Our previous pathway student, they were able to kind of just come in. If you had classes for all 5 days and you're only able to make it on a few afternoons, management's kind of pretty flexible with it, making sure that you're getting your schoolwork done first, as you're a student pathway, so your education, you have to take care of that, but then any kind of your extra time that you allot for your job to pretty flexible on that stuff. During the summertime and on breaks, I wanted to hit that 640-hour like benchmark as soon as possible, so I didn't mind working full-time over the summer and winter break, and that would be your like 6 to 6 or like a 6 to 2 or 8-hour shifts. We pretty much would be doing, I would be doing 6 12-hour shifts and then 1 8-hour shift where you do like admin work and that kind of stuff. So yeah, the long shifts are nice. You get a few more days off, but in the beginning, sometimes being stuck working for 12 hours is a little bit long, but it kind of gets used to it. All right. Anything else for you? Questions or comments? Oh, so how different right now is it working under COVID protocols? So I guess this whole situation is always changing. There are some NOAA guidelines that are in place from nationwide, and as well as we follow what the state government gives us. Um, just because of our operational shifts, if you are putting out a timely forecast, we have to be in the office, but if you are teleworking, majority of the time, if you're not on any operational shifts, you would be teleworking from home. We try to limit the amount of people that we do have in the office at one time. John, is there anything else regarding that?
No, I guess for the student pathways, you'd be you'd be both really. But one of the key benefits to the program is to get you operational experience to see what a weather forecast office is like firsthand. So you'd be shadowing our forecasters, like Evan was talking about our shifts that run 6 to 6. You'd be working with the forecasters on the operational shift.
Yep.
Me, I'm an administrative person, so Gavin's in the office. He's doing this from our conference room. Me, I'm at home. I'm teleworking. I don't warrant. I'm not important enough to go into the office. So that's kind of how the breakdown is. Forecast operations come first, and that's what, as a student, we want to get you exposed to, so you have a good idea of what happens within the Weather Service.
Mhm. Yep.
So any more?
Any other questions? Oh, yep. No problem. If you guys have any questions, you guys can, I guess, email me. That's fine at Gavin, Gavin .shigesato, Shigesato at noaa.gov. I'll try to help you if I can. If not, good luck on your application, and hopefully one of you guys are selected.
Good luck.
All right, I'll end this meeting, but yeah, thank you guys.